So, Balasana, child's pose, looks a few different varieties. I'm going to face you first of all. So you're on your knees. You can bring your knees together and fold forward. So you're laying your belly on your thighs. If you have a big chest, that might squash you, might feel that you can't breathe. Open the legs up and let your body drop in between. You can have your arms out long. You can have your arms T position. You can have your arms by your side. I asked if you had any pillows, so this is a great opportunity. If you've got sore knees, tight knees, you can put the pillow underneath your knees. If you've got tight knees, they don't stretch very far, you can put your pillows under your bum and then lean forward, or you can place the pillows underneath your head. So this is about finding the pose for you, finding your child's pose, what feels good. And what feels good today might not feel good tomorrow. You might prefer a different version of it if you've got tight hips one day. So get comfortable and hang out in child's pose for a moment. So you can have, got one more person joining us. So if you've just joined us, we're starting in a child's pose position, where our bodies, we sit on our knees, our bodies come forward, we can have our knees close together or wide apart. You can have your hands at T position or behind you. So in this position, your lungs are perfectly open to get in gorgeous deep breaths. You'll feel the back of your ribs expand, get wider every time you breathe in, and then fall in gently every time you breathe out. So the reason I wanted to do this position first is because child's pose is meant to be a place of rest, which is why I wanted you to find a comfortable version for your body. And you can go into any yoga studio, and if halfway through the class you're struggling, you're feeling something, you need a moment out, if you just come into child's pose on your mat, regardless of what anyone else in the class is doing, the teacher will know exactly where you are and what you're doing it for, and they won't disturb you. They'll probably come and check if you're okay and you're managing. So during this class, if you need a moment, always return to this spot. So hopefully the position you chose can be quite calming. You've supported yourself if needed with pillows. And now you're just starting to notice your breath. How is your breath this Saturday morning? Is it quite ragged? Quite fast, maybe quite shallow, you're nervous, you don't know what to expect, you have no idea what she's saying. It's fine. Or maybe you've managed to slow it down a little bit. Feeling good, the sun's shining. Don't change your breath, just notice where it is, what it's doing. Maybe you can feel your tummy on your thighs, that's quite grounding. Take a deep breath in and out. Feel the back of the ribs widen every in-breath Every out breath feeling maybe a little heavier on the mat. One more time, breathing in. Breathing out, sinking down. We're going to walk our hands, if they're not in front of you, or come up to a kneeling position. And we're going to come to a seated position just to do a little bit of mobilization. So you can sit on your knees, sit cross-legged, sit out long, wherever is comfortable. Maybe sit on a pillow to lift your hips. If you're cross-legged and your knees are super high because you've got tight hips, then lift your hips and sit on a pillow, sit on the sofa, sit on a chair, lift them a little bit higher. Or you can take the cross out long, whatever feels good. Seated position. I'm going to move down. Try and reach the crown of your head to the top of the room. Feel that length on the back of your neck, nice long spine. We're just going to roll our shoulders forward for 3 breaths. So breathing in and out for 1. Nice and slow. In and out for 2. And in and out for 3. Nice. Take it backwards. In and out for 1. In and out for 2. In and out for 3. Nice. We're going to breathe in, lift our shoulders to our ears, squeeze them really tight, and then breathe out, drop them down. 2 more. Breathing in, tense the shoulders up tight, earrings. Breathing out, drop them down. Last one. Breathing in, shoulders up tight to your ears. You're wearing them like earrings. They're not meant to be there. It feels really awkward. And breathe out, let them drop away. Very nice. We're just going to do a little neck roll. Drop our chin to our chest. Rolling it around one side very slowly. Be very careful. Be mindful of any sticky points you may come past. Back to center and take it on the other side. Mindful of any sticky patches you might meet again. And back to center. We're going to walk our hands forward and have a little forward fold. So you'll feel a bit of maybe tension in your hips. Walk your hands out as far as they go. Maybe they go here, that's fine. Try and round the spine a little bit, get a little longer. Walk your hands in. You're going to take your hands behind you, fingertips facing forwards. Clip in the elbows and lift the breastbone to create a little bit of a back bend. If you want to drop your head back, you're welcome to. If not, tuck your chin to your chest. Breathe in. And back to a neutral position. We're going to take our hand to the floor. Take our right hand to the floor, we'll do. Left hand out, palm facing towards the ceiling, and you're going to do a gorgeous side stretch, leaning over to the right side. So this is about creating length on that left side of the body. Maybe you'll feel a stretch in your left hip, left rib cage, left armpit. You can bend your elbow if you want to. Breathing into those left ribs. And coming up, bring your hands back down to the floor. We're going to lift the right hand palm up. And lifting tall, breathing over, take that hand over to the opposite side. So a stretch on the other side now. Try and root both hips into the floor. So you're not leaning over, that's not the point. Breathe in here, maybe getting a little deeper. You can bend your arm if that's too much effort. Breathe in, feeling a stretch down the whole right body. Push that right hip to the ground. Lift the right armpit to the ceiling. Breathe in. Back to center. You're going to change if you've got your legs crossed. You're going to change so that the other leg is in front. If you're on your knees or any other position, that's fine. Stay there. We're going to go to a twist. So you're going to breathe in, lift your right arm to the ceiling, take your crown of your head with you so you're getting nice and tall. Breathing out, you're going to take that right hand to the left knee and gently twist. This is the first twist of the day, so you're not trying to make a massive difference. It's going to be a very small movement. Breathing in, trying to get nice and long. Breathing out, turning a little deeper to the right. And breathe. One more breath. And take it back to the center. We're going to go on the other side. Breathing in, take that left arm long, reaching for the ceiling to create some length and space in the side, in your spine. And breathing out, you're going to take that left hand to the right knee and just gently twist in the spine. Very minimal movement here. So breathing in, getting longer, creating space. Breathing out, maybe we can twist into that space. Taking nice, big, deep breaths in. And last breath. Take it back to the center. We're going to walk our hands one more time. Walk them out the front, little forward fold. This time, if you've had your legs crossed, the other leg is in front. So how does this hip feel? Maybe this time it was easier. Maybe it was harder. Breathing into that back body, feel the rise and fall of your ribs. And walking your hands in. We're going to take it round to the other side. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see me. Fingertips facing forward, hands behind you, elbows tucked in, and you're just going to lift the chest. If you want to drop your head back, you're welcome to, or I keep my chin tucked. Really push your hip bones into the floor and lift the chest. Very nice. Coming back down to center. We're going to come over onto our hands and knees. Any knee problems, you can use your pillow to put underneath your knees. Any wrist problems, maybe take your hands just slightly in front of the shoulders, but if not, tabletop position, wrist underneath the shoulder, knee underneath the hip. So we're going to do something called cat-cow, which you will most likely see in every single yoga class. You have your fingers spread nice and wide, your hands pushing into the floor. You can either tuck your toes or have the top of your feet pushing into the floor. We're going to take a deep breath in, and when we breathe out, we're going to roll the pelvis under, scoop the tummy up, and really stretch and arch the back upwards. Drop your head, let it hang, pushing the floor away. This is called cat because it looks like a scared cat. So breathing in, we're going to tip the pelvis forward, drop the belly to the mat, lift the chest, lift the chin, and this is cow position. Breathing out, we'll go again. Roll the pelvis under, round in the back, get nice and long. Drop the head, let the shoulder blades fall apart. And breathing in. Change the pelvis, drop the tummy, lift the chest and chin. One more time. Breathing out, push the floor away, tuck the pelvis under, scoot the tummy up, let the head drop. Try and make space in that vertebrae in your spine. Breathing in, lift the hips to the ceiling, drop the tummy to the mat, lift your chest and chin. Very nice. Come back to neutral. And you're going to drop your bum back onto your heels and come into your version of child's pose. Turn your palms upwards or take them behind you so you can have a moment off of your wrists. And just breathe here. Notice how this breath feels. Place your hands to the floor in front of you. You're going to walk your hands in, maybe tuck your toes and come up to a standing position. We're going to do some sun salutations. I know my head is cut off, but I'm going to change that. Let me move a little further back so you can see me. So you're going to come to the front of your mat. I'm just going to stand here so you can see me. The first position in a sun salutation is called Tadasana or mountain pose. So you're going to come to a standing position. Your feet can be wherever feels comfortable. So for some people, that's feet together. I prefer my hands about a palm width apart. Or if you have any lower back problems or it feels good for you, you can take your feet as wide as the mat. Okay, so explore that, find that. Your hands are going to be by your side. I want you to push the feet into the mat. Push them in and then you'll feel a lift maybe up the front of your thighs. I don't want any weight in the front of your feet or in the back of the feet. I want it to be nice and even. Going to turn to the sides. You'll want your pelvis slightly tucked under. You've got a slight squeeze on the bum. Your ribs are tucked in, so this whole midsection is nice and tight. You're going to roll your shoulders out, keep them long away from your ears. The crown of your head reaching tall, but your chin is tucked. And breathe in here. Who thought that standing could be so effortful? So from here, we're going to breathe in and reach our hands overhead so they meet above us. I'm going to bend down so you can see. So they can either meet here at the palms, or if your shoulders don't allow, then keep it here. We're going to breathe out, bring our hands down to heart center. Nice. Do that again. So, breathing in, take your arms wide, they meet overhead. Maybe you can look at your hands. And breathing out, bring your hands down to heart center. One last time. Breathing in, arms overhead. Breathing out, bring them down to heart center. So yoga is actually about connecting your breath to your body and your breath and your body movements. So just this simple movement is already doing yoga. That's as simple as it is. But we're going to take it a little bit more now. So one more time, breathing in, take your arms wide. Meeting at the top, maybe you look at your hands. And breathing out, this time, you're going to take your arms wide and swan dive forward. You're going to send your hips back, flat back, bend in the knees. And then when you get to halfway, you're just going to melt to the floor and hang out. Big bend in the knees so you can rest your hands on the floor, whatever that means to you. And then let your head drop. This is Uttanasana, forward fold. From here, with a big bend in your hands, you're going to take your right foot back, lifting the hips, the left foot back, and keeping the hips high, you're going to take them towards the back of your mat.
You're going to look like you're in an upside down V, and this is called downward dog. If you have lower back problems or it just feels good, then take your feet as wide as the mat. You can take your hands as wide as the mat. You want to put your hips high, back is long, but your head and neck are not doing anything. Then from here, we're going to take a big bend in the knees, walking the hands forward, back into that forward fold. Dropping the head, breathe in here. Very nice. Now we're just gently going to roll up. Maybe you can walk your hands up your legs, tuck the pelvis under, roll each spine vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling the shoulders back and down, and then just trace your eyes along the wall so you don't get dizzy. So that is our first sun salutation. We're going to do that once more, okay? Breathing in, take your arms wide, hands meet overhead. You can look at your hands if you want to. Breathing out, you're going to take your palms wide again, swan dive forward, bend your knees, flat back, and then gently fold down to the floor. Big bend in the knees. We're going to take the left foot back, then the right. Push your hands into the floor, keep your hips high. Put them back towards the back of your mat. Upside down V or downward dog. You're going to try and melt those heels to the back of the mat. Keep your hips high. Here, if this feels awkward for you, take a big bend in your knees. And now, how does that feel? Maybe it feels a little better, a little good for you. And this is about how we explore the pose for our bodies. Very nice. Walk in the feet to the hands. Bend your knees. Forward fold position. And then coming up very slowly. Keep your gaze low so you don't get a head rush. Tuck the pelvis under. Roll each vertebrae up. Roll the shoulders, and then when you're ready, just slowly take your gaze up to Tadasana. Bring your hands wide and take a moment to breathe here. Let's have a look. All right, Faye, I've just seen your question. Should you focus on your feet? We're going to go back to downward dog and we'll explore where we look in that position. So Tadasana, you're going to do one more round and we're going to hang out in downward dog. So breathing in, take your hands overhead, reach into the ceiling, maybe your palms meet, maybe you look at them. And then forward fold, you're going to take your arms wide, flat back, big bend in the knees, looking down at the floor or between your legs, whatever is comfortable, but big bend in the knees will release the stretch of the back body, your hamstrings, your lower back. This is a big movement. You're going to step back with your right leg, put your knee on the floor, step back with your left, bring your bum to your heels, come into child's pose. Whichever version feels good for you. And have a breath here. Breathing in and out, nice and slowly. I want you to come up to a tabletop position. I'm going to move back slightly. So your knees are underneath your hips And I want you to walk your hands out long and drop your body, but keep your back nice and straight. Keep your hips over your knees. Don't walk them too forward or don't pull them too back. Your hands push into the floor in front of you. Spread your fingers. Just gently spread them so you can increase your base. Let your head just hang. From here, bring your navel to your spine so you're turning on the midsection. Push the feet, the top of the feet into the floor. And this is what we call puppy. So if I say to you downward dog and that's too strenuous, you can return here. If this feels good, maybe tuck your toes and keeping your hands where they are, lift your hips to the sky. And then play around with your feet. Maybe you need to walk them in a little bit. Maybe you need to take them as wide as your mat. And we come into a downward dog. Your gaze can be between your feet, between your thighs, but you just soften the head. Keep breathing here. Bend in the knees to feel the back straighten. Breathe. Widen your collarbones to create space around your neck and head. And on your next out breath, I want you to lower your knees to the floor, sit back on your heels, child's pose. Maybe turn your hands to your palms to the sky or take your hands behind you. Breathe. Very nice. So we're going to try it one more time. You can go to puppy pose if that was better for you. Make a decision what suited your body best. Or you can come up to downward dog with me. So place your hands in front. Push them into the floor. Tuck your toes. And then lift your hips slowly. Keep the bend in the knee. So you can choose puppy pose, which is this one. Or we can go for the downward dog position. Remember, you can have your feet as wide as you need them. You can have a bigger bend in your knees as you need to. I want you to think about lifting the hips to the sky, tilt the pelvis forward, navel to spine so that your tummy's turned on, collarbones wide. Even in puppy pose, you can do all of those things. Taking a big breath in. And back out, bring your knees to the ground, head to the mat, bum to your heels, turn the palms up or take them to the side, child's pose. Hands in front of your face, palms to the mat, tuck your toes. And we're going to come back up to standing, being very careful that we've been upside down. So just slowly lifting the gaze ahead. Walk to the front of your mat. Back into Dasana, so choose that position for your feet. Shoulders back and down, crown of the head lifting tall, pelvis tucked, navel to spine. We're going to breathe in, lift the arms overhead so they meet above you. You can look at your hands if you wish to. You're going to breathe out, you're going to separate your hands, swan dive forward, so hinging at the hips, flat back. And then you're going to fold forward. So this time we're going to spend a little time in this one, Uttanasana forward fold. So probably not many of you may be able to reach the floor. So hands on shins, hands on thighs. Make this feel good for you. Bend in the knees will release the stretch of your hamstrings and your lower back. Dropping the head to relax. Maybe you want to hold onto your elbows and let gravity pull you down. Taking deep breaths in and out. Maybe you can feel your belly on your thighs if your knees are bent. That's a lovely, lovely feeling. You're trying to lift your hips to the sky and letting your head relax down to the ground. Breathe in. Very nice. We're going to lift half height. So place your hands on your shins or your thighs. Lift the head, chest and tummy to come to a tabletop position. Pulling the shoulders back and down. Crown of your head reaching forward. Breathing in and out. And then on your next in-breath, you're going to breathe in tall, reaching your head forward, and then breathing out, relax back down into that forward fold. Using your hands to support you wherever feels good. Bending the knees. If your hands touch the floor, or maybe your fingertips can now. Have a little wiggle around. Maybe it feels better to take your feet as wide as the mat. Explore. Keep breathing. I want you to take a big deep bend in your knees. Bend all the way down. Bend, bend, bend. So your bum comes down. Take the left leg behind, right leg behind. Child's pose. Your version. And breathe. Just notice how you're feeling. What's your heart rate doing? What's your breath doing? Bring it back to your breath, feeling the rise and fall of your ribs. Tummy on your thighs. Turning inwards. You're going to reach your hands out long. I'm moving back on the mat slightly. You're going to reach your hands out long. You're going to bring your head and chest through so that you're laying flat on the mat. You're going to take your hands, place them by your side palms up. And breathe here for a moment. If this is uncomfortable, you can make a pillow with your hands crossed in front of you. Placing your forehead here if it's a bit too claustrophobic with the mat by your mouth. So just notice what this feels like. Every breath, your belly pushes the mat away, the floor away. Bring your hands by the side of your body, about bottom of the ribs. Place your hands, your palms on the floor. Tuck the elbows in. And as we breathe in, we're going to lift our head and chest into a cobra position. Breathing out, come back down. Now, before we do that again, we're going to talk about feet position. So traditionally, your feet are really pushed together because this is a cobra, so the bottom represents a snake. However, I prefer a little bit about a hip distance apart, and if you have lower back problems, take your feet as wide as the mat, okay? Push the tops of your feet into the floor. You'll feel your knees lift off the mat. You'll feel the front of your thighs engage, and I want you to breathe in, lift your head and chest. We're going to hold it here. Breathing out, staying here. Now you're using your back muscles to lift you. You're not pushing into the hands. They're just there to support you. Keep breathing. Feel your hip bones pushing into the mat. Squeeze your bum to protect your lower back. Shoulders back and down. Keep breathing. Keep squeezing the back muscles. And breathing out, coming back down. Shake off the hips, release your hands, maybe make the pillow for your head. Maybe you can feel a little something around your lower spine, your mid back. We're going to do this one more time. So bring in your hands by the side of your body, about the lower rib. Tuck the elbows in. Bring your feet to wherever you need them to be to support you. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Engage the front of the thighs. Squeeze your bum. And when you're ready, breathing in, lift your head and chest. Tummy goes into the mat. You're breathing in and out. Shoulders back and down. You're trying to get the heart, your front of your chest, to the front of the room. You're not going for height here. Breathing in, keep pushing, keep squeezing. And breathing out, coming back to the mat. You're going to push your hands into the floor. Bum meets your feet into child's pose. Turn your hands up to the sky. Turn your palms to the mat, tuck your toes, lift your hips. You look like you're in downward dog. Walk your feet to meet your hands. Back in that forward fold position, and you'll just gently push through your hands, bend your knees, rolling up your spine. Shoulders back and down, lift your head nice and tall. Fantastic. Bring your hands to heart center. You're going to step to your left with your left foot, taking it out long behind you. Keeping that right foot facing forward. Your back foot, your left foot, can either be at 90 or 45, okay? You can have your heels. I'm going to turn to face you. So maybe you want your heels in line. So that's one foot almost in front of the other. Your pelvis is going to be turning to the left. I'm going to turn one more here. You're going to bend that front knee. So you're looking like you're in a lunge, but your pelvis and your torso are facing the side. Hands at heart position. If this is uncomfortable for you, if you're already getting a stretch in your groin, bring that back foot in. This is still the same position as this, okay? It's still just as strong, so find what meets you. For me, it's about halfway in between here. Breathing in, bring your shoulders back and down. Breathing out, I want you to bend that front knee. Keeping your torso up tall so you don't fall forward. You're pushing the edge of that back foot into the mat so it's strong. Both feet pushing into the floor. You should feel an activation in the front of your thighs. Your crown of your head reaching tall, breathing in and out. We're going to open the arms wide, take about long. And you're going to look over your front hand, that ring finger. Keeping the shoulders back and down, you're reaching out long to either side of the room. What I want you to think about is this front knee, and we all automatically let it go inwards to the big toe. I want you to really activate your bum and send it towards your little toe so it's not caving in, and you'll feel the insides of your leg really start to activate. So keep breathing, keep reaching, And then we're going to step back together at the front of the mat. Hands meet at heart center. Very nice. And breathe. I'm going to open the window. So we're going to do that on the other side. Taking a big step back with the right foot. So I'm going to turn around. Front foot stays facing forward. The back foot can face at 90 or 45, whatever feels comfortable. But I want the length of the edge of the foot to really push into the floor. So if you go so wide that your foot tips forward, then that's too wide for you. Bring it in. Ground your feet into the floor. Bend the front knee, your pelvis, your ribs. Turn the side. Hands at heart center, shoulder back and down. Front knee edging towards that little toe rather than the big toe. Crown of your head, reaching tall, navel to spine, tummy is turned on. Taking your hands out long and take the gaze over your front middle finger, really reach in here. So this is called Warrior Two position. And there's a reason, because it's a strong position. Everything is turned on. Pushing the feet into the floor, reaching your arms wide. Gaze over that front finger. Keep breathing. Feel the strength in your legs supporting you. And then when you're ready, bring in that back foot to meet the right foot. Hands at heart center. Have a moment in Tadasana and just breathe. Feel your heart rate, feel your breath. Breathing in, take your arms overhead. Breathing out, folding forwards again. Big bend in the knees, hands meet the floor. Take the left foot back, the right foot back, and you're going to come to a tabletop position. Again, if you have sore wrists, take your hands slightly in front. Lifting the right foot with the right knee on the floor, you're going to take the right foot to the right about 90 degrees. You're going to put the weight into your right hand and you're going to take that left leg out long, and so the left sole of the foot reaches the floor. Take your left hand to your side body and you're going to come into a side plank position. Let me move so you can see me better. Breathe in here. Your hips are high, navel to the spine, shoulders back and down. If you've got sore wrists, you can take that in slightly in front. Otherwise, keep it directly over under your shoulder. Pushing that left foot into the floor. You want to aim to bring your left shoulder back, your right shoulder forward, so you're almost in a pane of glass. From here, lift that top hand to reach to the sky. Keep breathing. Keep squeezing, keep holding. You can look forward here like I'm doing. You can take your gaze to the bottom hand, or if it feels good in your neck, you can take the gaze to your top hand. I really want you to reach to the ceiling with that top hand while pushing into the floor with that right knee, left foot, right hand. Keep breathing, keep reaching. And then rolling this top hand back down, tabletop position, bum to your heels, child's pose. And breathe. Trying to bring the heart rate back down, the breathing, trying to get it under control. Going to turn for the other side, coming up, tabletop position. Lifting the left foot, taking it 90 degrees behind you, transferring the weight to your left hand, left knee. You're going to take your right foot out long, pushing the sole of the foot to the floor. Lift your hips, wrist, shoulder, top shoulder, hand onto the thigh. Navel to spine, a slight squeeze in the bum cheeks, the feet pushing into the floor, top of the back foot pushing into the floor. Breathe in. Very nice. Lifting the arm overhead, taking that gaze either to me, to your hand, or to your top hand. Breathing in, really reaching tall. Breathing out, bring that navel to spine, slight squeeze of the bum cheeks, lifting the hips. Breathing in, bringing that bottom shoulder as far forward as you can, bringing that back shoulder, breathing out in line. Breathe in, reach in. Nice and strong. And when you're ready, bringing your hands to the tabletop position, bum to heels, child's pose. Just resting. Maybe you can feel some energy in your hands. Turn your palms upwards. Take a moment off your wrists. Come up to a tabletop position. And we're going to come to a seated position. We're now going to spend some time on the floor. We're going to take our legs out long. So I want to just talk to you a minute about our pelvis. I'm going to turn this thing. So your pelvis, almost like a little bowl that's slightly tipped forward. Okay. So in this neutral position, with your back neutral, that pelvis is tipping forward. The front hip bones are facing forward. What happens when we have really tight hamstrings or a tight lower back? The pelvis starts to tip backwards and we round. So if that's you in this position because you have tight hamstrings, sit on some pillows, lift the hips, make it easier on yourself. And it will feel so much easier to keep that pelvis facing forward, and then you'll invite the natural curves back into your spine. Sitting on the floor, you're going to have your left foot out long, and you're going to bring that right foot either here next to your left shin, up here to your thigh, or if you have the availability in your hips, take it over across the opposite knee. Bend in this bottom knee if the stress is too much. If you can feel too much in your hamstrings, too much in your lower back, bend in the knees. So even this is a position, okay? So choose what works for you. Breathing in, reaching tall. Breathing out, you're going to take the left arm, wrap it around the right, and look towards that bent knee in a twist. So you'll feel a stretch on the outer hip. Maybe your hamstrings are very loud. Lower back, twisting the spine. Breathing in, reaching tall. Breathing out, twisting a little deeper. If you want to, if your neck allows, you can take your neck, your gaze, and look over that right shoulder. But if it doesn't feel good, then just keep it here. Keep it in line with your chest. Bring your navel to your spine, maybe That'll allow you to twist a little deeper. Keep breathing. And when you're ready, untwist and cross your heels and shake out your knees. My dog has joined us and I'm hoping he doesn't knock the camera over. I'm going to take it on the other side. So bending the left knee. You can take it all the way in, or you can take it and cross it over your right. Choose what feels good for you, bearing in mind that both sides are not necessarily the same, and this side could feel tighter, could feel lighter, could be completely different. Breathing in, reaching tall. Breathing out, you're going to take your right hand, hugging that left and twisting. Keeping the shoulders back and down. You can take that hand and place it behind you for a little bit of stability, but don't lean on it. Reaching tall with the crown of your head. Breathing in and out. If you want to take the gaze behind you, you're welcome to encourage the twist all the way up to your neck. Navel to spine helps you twist a little bit more. Keep breathing. Reaching tall. It's not a big movement. You're not going to be facing behind you at the end of this. Just rotating, wringing out the spine. Twisting is good for digestion and detoxing. One last breath in and out. And release back to center. Take both your legs out long, give them a shuffle. We're going to take the soles of our feet and bring them together. So if you didn't need a cushion under your hips for the last one, you may need it for this one. If your knees are up here, lift the hips higher, you'll see them start to melt down. So bring your feet, soles of your feet together as near or as wide as you need to. If you've got lower back problems, take them out wide. Hands can rest on your feet, on your shin, on your thighs. Shoulders back and down, breathing in, reaching tall with the crown of your head. This is already quite a stressful position. You can feel a stretch in the groin, your adductors. And on your next out breath, I want you keeping a nice active position. You're going to fold forward. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. So reaching tall, squeeze the tummy, relax the shoulders, and you're going to reach forward with your chest using your back muscles. So it's not going to be a big forward fold. It's not a big movement. This is strength. Take your hands maybe behind you just to take away any reliability on them. So breathing in, tucking the chest, squeezing the back muscles, keeping it nice and active, your back nice and flat. And then we're going to breathe out and relax into the stretch. Keeping that length in your spine. Breathing and softening. So maybe you can place your elbows onto your legs so you can just support your head if that's too strenuous. This is the hip opening, strengthening the inside of our legs, stretching our back, our hamstrings. Breathing in and out, just relaxing into the pose. Try and let go, try and melt into the mat. If your hands can meet your feet, maybe grab hold of them and turn the soles of your feet so you can see them like a little book, opening it out, a bit of foot flexibility. If you can't reach your feet, don't worry, just relax into the pose. Find a position that's comfortable for you. Breathing in. And out. And letting go of the feet, walking the hands in so you can sit up tall. And you're going to take your legs out long and you're going to relax back into our final position, dead body pose. So this is our final relaxation pose. Make it restful, effortless for you. So that could mean your pillow goes underneath your knees to release your lower back. You can put it behind your lower back for support, or you can use your head, pillow behind your head just to support you. Choose what is best for you. This is your resting position. So have your feet wide, let your toes drop to the side. Hips are heavy, shoulders back and down. You've got a nice little curve in your lower back. If you don't, maybe bring your shoulders down. That'll encourage a curve. And if it's comfortable, you can close your eyes and observe your breath. Take in slow, deep breaths in and out. Relaxing and restful. Your toes falling out to the sides. Heels are heavy on the mat. Your calves are soft. The front of your thighs are soft and relaxed. Your hip bones heavy on the mat. Your belly is soft. The shoulders are relaxed, back and down, away from your ears, spacious. Your arms heavy on the floor, palms open, light and airy. And your fingertips curled, soft, no tension, no holding. Muscles in your face are relaxed. Your tongue is away from the roof of your mouth. Your cheeks are soft. The muscles around your eyes are relaxed. And the center between your eyebrows is soft. Enjoying every moment that we're given. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes to bring life back into the body. Rolling your neck, your forehead from side to side. Bring your feet to the floor one at a time, knees bent. Bringing your knees into your chest. Just have a little roll, little rock of the pelvis. You'll feel your lower back meet the mat. And you're going to roll over to your right side. Just let the knees drop. Take your shoulders with you. Taking deep breaths here. Rubbing your hands together, create a little bit of heat. Place them over your eyes, rubbing your hands away. Gently pushing into the floor to come up to a seated position. Whatever feels comfortable. Shoulders back and down, spine nice and neutral, crown of the head reaching tall. Bring your hands to your heart center. Maybe close your eyes for a moment. When we're in this crazy situation and our house becomes our office, it becomes our gym, it becomes the nursery, it's very, very difficult to take a step away and have an hour to yourself when there's no change of environment. We have to kind of change the environment in our head and say that we're going to have time for ourselves now. So whatever you've achieved in the last hour, be truly grateful. It was more than enough. No matter how much you did, how deep you got into a pose, it was enough. Breathing in and out. You're going to drop your nose to meet the tips of your fingers. Namaste. Well done, everybody. Nice and calm now.